All right, thanks, guys. Vlad Zulyabin takes on Andre Babkin, 5:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Andre's lost his last three straight, including a 3-0 shutout loss to Andrei Sadkov during that stretch. Babkin's also been victorious in just 3 out of his last 8, losing to the likes of Kuzmin, Sadkov, and Zulyabin during that span as well. And speaking of Zulyabin, he's won 2 out of his last 3 head-to-head matchups with Babkin. He's also been victorious in 5 out of his last 7, including 2 shutout victories against the likes of Ivan Pander and Andrei Sadkov. Looks like a pretty good spot for Zulyabin backers here. Give me Vlad Zulyabin winning this one outright for some moneyline cash. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. Now, before we go ahead and move on with the program, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are currently 3-1 in our last 4 extra daily pick tier membership plays on that website. We're also 19-10 in our last 29 crowd pleaser teasers as well. That's a very good package for us right now. We do daily premium sports picks on that website, beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Currently, we have well over 675 members signed up and active on that page. Now, you might be wondering, why would all those folks sign up to receive Patreon picks where they can get them right here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great thought, a great point, a great concern. But there is a big problem with me handicapping every single game that is on the board, every single game that's on the slate, side, and total. And the problem is this: if you were gonna go ahead and bet every single game that's on the board that I put out here on YouTube, side and total, you are certainly guaranteeing yourself failure. And I know that sounds crazy, I know that sounds weird, but you got to hear me out. You're not mishearing me. If you're gonna bet every single game that's on the slate with your hard-earned money, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. And as a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. The books are way too smart for that. They're way too sharp. They certainly have a whole lot more money than you and I do combined to be able to actually absorb that kind of action. And most importantly, the math becomes aggressively against you the more and more games you play like that. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube, handicapping every single game that is put up on the board, side and total. And the good news is this: if you want to check out my current Patreon record, you can actually do that for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. I'll also include a link in the comments section below as well for you to be able to click on. And once again, that website is patreon.com/BrockPage. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive back into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Andre Babkin right back on the table, this time taking on Sergey Kuzmin in a 6 p.m. Eastern start time. Kuzmin is playing really well right now, winning 7 out of his last 8 matches. He's also garnered himself dominant shutout victories in his most recent 2 matches against the likes of Andrei Sadkov and Vlad Zulyabin. He's also beaten the likes of Andre Babkin and Ivan Pander during this span of victories. And speaking of Babkin, he's once again right in the middle of a 3-match losing streak, while also dropping 5 out of his last 8. Babkin's 0-2 in his last 2 head-to-head matchups with Kuzmin. Looks like a pretty good spot for Kuzmin backers here. Give me Sergey Kuzmin getting the job done in convincing fashion. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Haik Lulikian squaring off against Oleg Nikiforov, 6 p.m. start time. Oleg's right in the middle of a 3-match win streak, shutting out Vitaly Vasilevsky 3-0 in his most recent outing. Oleg's also been victorious in 6 out of his last 8, including a staggering 4 shutout victories during that stretch. He shut out Arty Arudinin, Viktor Ivanov, and once again Vitaly Vasilevsky during that span of dominant victories. He also defeated Lulikian 3-2 in their last head-to-head matchup. And speaking of Hike, he's dropped 2 out of his last 3 himself, including that 3-2 defeat at the hands of Nikiforov. He also failed to get the W in his last head-to-head matchup with Vitaly Vasilevsky as well. Should be a pretty good matchup here. Should be competitive. One of the more competitive ones that is on the card. But I'm going to go ahead and give the slight edge to Nikiforov. Give me Oleg Nikiforov winning this one straight up in a close one. All right, next contest, it is going to be Andrei Ovechnikov facing off against Vlad Petrov in a 6 p.m. start. Petrov has been victorious in 5 out of his last 8 contests, including 2 shutout victories in his last 2 wins. He shut out Andrei Ovechnikov and Danny Andreev in those blowouts. He's also beaten Ovechnikov in 3 out of their last 4 head-to-head meetings, including 2 shutouts in those 3 victories. Ovechnikov, on the other side, has lost his last 2 straight and suffered defeats in 7 out of his last 8 matches. He's also been shut out in his last 2 straight, while also failing to win a set in 4 out of his last 8 matches. Andrei was beaten by the likes of Andreev, Shirokov, and Vaknin during that span. Looks like a pretty rough position for Andrei in this spot here. Give me Vlad Petrov getting the job done in convincing fashion. All right, next battle we have on the table. It is going to be Artem Arudinin taking on Anatoly Trushkin, 6:30 p.m. start time. Trushkin is the $1.25 favorite. Arudinin is -115 as the underdog. Arudinin has lost 4 out of his last 6 matches, including 2 shutout losses to the hands of Oleg Nikiforov. He also lost to Hike Lulikian twice during that span of losses. Trushkin, on the other side, blasted Arudinin 3-0 in their last head-to-head meeting. Trushkin's also been victorious in 2 out of his last 3, including a dominant 3-0 victory over Hike Lulikian. Doesn't look like too bad of a spot for Trushkin backers here. Give me Anatoly Trushkin winning this one straight up in a close one. All right, next contest I have for you. It is going to be Ivan Pander squaring off against Vlad Zulyabin, 6:30 start time. Zulyabin's the $2.75 favorite. Pander's +200. Pander's been playing some of the worst table tennis of his career. Loser of his last 8 straight matches, where he was actually shut out in 3 out of those 8 losses. Now, more specifically, Pander was shut out by Babkin twice and Zulyabin once. And speaking of Vlad, he's won 2 out of his last 3, along with 5 out of his last 7, including 2 shutout victories during that stretch. He defeated the likes of Babkin, Sadkov, and Pander during that span of wins. Looks like a nice spot for Zulyabin backers. Give me Vlad Zulyabin winning in dominant fashion for some pricey moneyline cash. All right, I'm going to slide to my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Georgy Vladimirovich Vaknin taking on Vlad Shirokov, 6:30 Eastern start time. Shirokov's the $1.25 favorite. Georgie's -115 as the underdog. Georgie's also won his last 3 straight and 6 out of his last 8. He shut out Petrov and Ovechnikov during that stretch. He also garnered marquee victories over Danny Andreev, Vlad Petrov, and Vlad Shirokov during that span. And speaking of Shirokov, he's dropped 2 out of his last 3, including a shutout loss to Danny Andreev. Vlad's also lost 3 out of his last 6, with a 3-1 embarrassment at the hands of Vaknin. Gotta lean toward Georgie in this spot here. Give me Georgy Vladimirovich Vaknin winning that one outright for some moneyline cash. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to Bill McMahon, Tanner Ivey, Kyle McGrath, Stephen Edwards, Ryan Mast, Brandon Saunders, William Peterson. Shout out to Zy Lixer, Jimmy Gold, Zymer Trax, Rockmel Potts, and last but certainly not least, gotta give a shout out to my man, my good friend, Lucas Borgia. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Once again, we do daily premium sports picks beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content and all this great free information. And with that said, I must say to you, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I definitely look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.